Sometimes it's not the price tag on a home that tells you the real story, it's the room a person can't stop talking about. For Kelly, Ripa and Mark Consuelos, that room is a bedroom in Manhattan with white walls, soft light, and a chair Kelly wore out from sitting in it for hours while she wrote her memoir. That single detail, a chair worn down from use, not decor, says more about this marriage than any real estate listing ever could. And that's really what this is about. Not 4 addresses. 4 chapters of a 30-year partnership, told through the spaces they chose to build a life in. Let's start where most people do, the $27 million Upper East Side townhouse that's become almost as famous as the couple themselves. Kelly and Mark bought the 7,796 square foot property in 2013, a 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom home that underwent a full renovation before it ever became theirs. On paper, that's just a real estate transaction. But when Kelly walked Architectural Digest through the home in 2024, she said it was the final place she'd ever live, and if you've followed this couple for any length of time, you know that's not a small statement. This is a family that has moved before. This is a woman who has lived in soap opera trailers, morning show green rooms, and every version of temporary that fame requires. So when she calls a house her forever home, it's worth sitting with. Why? Because here's the thing about Kelly and Mark that audiences have always responded to: they don't perform stability. They live it out loud in small, almost accidental ways. Take the story Kelly told on their show about buying that very house. She admitted that right after signing the closing documents, they immediately regretted it, panicked, overwhelmed, completely unprepared for what they'd just done. The real estate broker, she said, could tell they were new to this. It's a funny story. But it's also a quietly honest one. Most people don't share the moment they doubted their own big decision. Kelly does. And that's part of why viewers feel like they actually know her. She lets you see the version of the story that isn't polished. The townhouse itself tells its own kind of relationship story, room by room. Mark's cigar lounge was designed to feel, in his words, like 1970s New York meeting 1920s Paris. Dark walls, leather furniture, Formula One photography, a space that is entirely, unapologetically his. And then just down the hall, their bedroom is the opposite in every way: white, quiet, calm, designed to feel like a European hotel suite. Mark has described it as sexy and peaceful all at once. What's interesting isn't the design choices themselves. It's that 2 people built a home where both of their personalities get a room of their own, and somehow it still functions as one shared life. That's not just interior design. That's a pretty accurate blueprint for how a 30-year marriage actually works. You don't merge into sameness. You build separate rooms and still choose to walk the same hallway every night. Now, if the townhouse is where Kelly and Mark built their permanent identity, their other homes tell you something different. They tell you how this family recovers, resets, and reconnects when the cameras stop rolling. Take Telluride, Colorado. It's easy to imagine a mountain retreat as just another status symbol for a couple with a combined net worth reportedly around $160 million. But listen to how Kelly actually described it. She told Redbook that waking up, having coffee, and looking out at that view feels like everything. That she and Mark watched the sunrise together and still can't quite believe their life turned out this way. That's not the language of 2 people chasing luxury. That's the language of 2 people who still, after decades of fame, feel a little bit lucky. And Mark has shared his own version of that same feeling online, showing off a red porch swing where the 2 of them sit and take in the view together. A porch swing. Not a marble bathroom. Not a home theater. A swing for 2 people to sit quietly and watch a mountain morning happen. It's worth pausing on why that resonates so much with viewers. Because most of us will never own a home in Telluride. But almost all of us understand the impulse behind that swing. The desire to find one small physical space in your life where you and your partner just exist together, without a schedule, without an audience, without anything to perform. Kelly and Mark have spent 3 decades being watched. On soap operas, on morning television, on every red carpet and interview couch imaginable. A porch swing in the mountains might be the one place where nobody's watching at all. And maybe that's exactly the point of it. Then there's the Hamptons house. The one most associated with family gatherings, with friends like Ryan Seacrest passing through, with the version of summer that involves houseguests and long dinners and kids coming home from college. If Telluride is where Kelly and Mark go to be quiet together, the Hamptons feels like where they go to be loud together, surrounded by people, noise, and the particular chaos of a full house. It's a reminder that this couple's idea of rest isn't always solitude. Sometimes it's just changing which crowd they're surrounded by, swapping a television studio audience for their own extended family around a dinner table. And finally, the Caribbean escape, the home that, for many fans, holds the most emotional weight of all 4 properties. This was the house where Kelly and Mark isolated with their family during the earliest, most uncertain days of the pandemic. Outdoor pool, ocean views from the upper floor bedrooms, a garden that Kelly has shown glimpses of over the years. On the surface, it's paradise. But context changes everything about how a place feels. This wasn't a vacation home used for a relaxing getaway. It became, for a stretch of time, the place a family sheltered together during one of the most frightening periods many of us have ever lived through. When a couple chooses to ride out genuine uncertainty together, side by side in one house, that says something about the foundation underneath the marriage. It's easy to enjoy a beach house. It's a different thing entirely to trust the person next to you enough to face real fear in that same space, together, and come out the other side still choosing each other. That's the pattern if you step back far enough. 4 homes. For completely different purposes. A townhouse that says, this is who we are now, permanently. A mountain retreat that says, this is where we remember to just breathe. A Hamptons house that says, this is where our people gather. And an island home that, whether anyone planned it this way or not, became a symbol of how this family holds together when things get hard. It's tempting to look at a property portfolio like this and only see the price tags, $27 million here, a Colorado retreat there. But viewers have never really been drawn to Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos because of what they own. They're drawn to them because of how visibly, consistently affectionate and unfiltered they still are with each other after 30 years. The teasing on their show, the way Mark will casually call Kelly out mid-sentence, the way she rolls her eyes at him like she's still mildly annoyed and completely in love at the same time. These homes just happen to be the backdrop where that dynamic keeps playing out year after year, whether it's in a marble foyer in Manhattan or on a porch swing 8,000 feet up a mountain. There's also something quietly reassuring in watching a couple who found fame young, who built wealth most of us can barely picture, and who still, by every account they've given themselves, treat their homes as places to be together rather than places to be seen. Kelly didn't describe her favorite room in that Manhattan townhouse as the grand foyer or the rooftop view. She described a bedroom with a worn-out desk chair, because that's where she sat, alone, working through her own thoughts in the middle of a life that rarely offers her privacy. That detail didn't need a publicist. It's just true. And it's the kind of true detail that makes an entire mansion feel less like a trophy and more like a home. So maybe that's the real story hiding underneath 4 beautiful properties and 1 very impressive net worth. It's not really about the square footage or the views or even the price. It's about 2 people who have spent 3 decades building rooms that fit who they actually are, separately and together, and who still, after everything, seem to genuinely want to sit next to each other and watch the sun come up. Which house do you think says the most about who Kelly and Mark really are underneath the fame, the forever home in Manhattan, or that quiet porch swing in the mountains? Let us know in the comments, and if there's a Kelly and Mark moment that stuck with you over the years, we'd love to hear which one it is.